All right,
I see it
sorry,
on
guys.
Twitter.
We've been
It's live.
fighting the lives. It's driving us crazy. Hopefully we're live today. Welcome to episode 32 of Authentic Hustle. My gosh, guys, 32 episodes, about what, 7 or 8 months, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, man, it's been nuts. It's been a lot of fun. For those of you who are listening to this and are like, what the heck? Why doesn't it go live half the time? We're fighting it. I don't know what's going on. We're having talks with Riverside. We're trying to get it fixed. But if you do miss this live, you can always catch it later on YouTube. So come follow us on YouTube, Authentic Hustle. You can always hop on our website at ah.live, which one of our incredible co-hosts, Vijayan Swaminathan, created for us through his company, Zadwell. They do amazing websites for those of you who are looking for that support.
AI websites.
AI websites, yes. Yeah. But we'll call it futuristic time travel style websites, okay?
They're building it for me right now.
Which ultimately is going to lead us into our topic today, because inside the Catalyst Club, Colin Harms this morning dropped the Time Freedom Playbook document. And we started talking earlier today about, time and freedom and how entrepreneurship can be a challenge to balance those things. We're like, you know what? I think that's the show topic today. And so today we're going to be talking about the time freedom equation led by Mr. Colin Harms himself. And I'm excited to chat about it because as an entrepreneur, as a podcaster, as a dad, partner, I have no friggin' time. This time freedom equation shit, Colin, isn't working the way I'd hope.
You know what? It's funny because it hit me yesterday. I think we were chatting about it as well. And VJ, we had chatted about it as well. We're constantly pulled, right? We're pulled in different directions. There's opportunities. I'm the squirrel guy, right? The shiny object. Everything looks good to me. Even if it doesn't, some of it's still good. And I get pulled towards it. So the premise of the playbook when I was coming up with it was I had just gone through a situation where, I guess I had an invitation to do something else. And quickly, for maybe the first time in my life, it hit me where I just said, you know what, I have to say no. I don't have any more to give. And part of that was, I was telling Kelly, I'm in a very good situation right now that I can admit financially with the businesses and whatnot, that I'm not chasing money. I'm not, right? I'm not bathing in it, but I'm not chasing it. But I'm chasing time. So for me, at the end of the day, whenever end of my day, I want to call that is, do I want to go and yet sit down and start creating and start developing yet one more thing? And if I do, what's the purpose? Is it helping me? Because if it's only for me, I don't need to do it. Is it helping, my marriage? If it isn't, probably not a good idea. Just because I've worked hard to get these other things somewhat settled or where I want them to be or where they feel comfortable, I don't need to be pulled in another direction. And that's not easy because I'm entrepreneurial. I'm also a helper. I love helping people and I'm a giver. I want to give to different situations or circumstances. So then, last night I'm like, you know what? I have to put this into paper. I have to put this into a playbook. And so that's what I did. And then when I posted it and VJ reached out and said how much it impacted him, and Kelly and I chatted quickly this morning. And Kelly, you 100% agree with it and it all comes down to, I think it's a Chinese proverb, but are they really Chinese proverbs or did somebody just say that? I don't know. I'll call it that is when you chase two rabbits, they both get away.
Yeah.
Right. So I have to focus on, you give power you give power to what you focus on. Right. So that's what I'm doing. And that's where the playbook, it's a derivative of all those things, but that's where I'm really focusing my time and my attention is, to where I want that power to go.
But you, like so many people that I've interviewed on the podcast, right? Like, it comes up in like almost every conversation on the BDP at some point, especially when I'm dealing with people who are talking about mental health. They always talk about, well, you have to find a way to enjoy today. Ben Spangle, right? find a way to live your life how you intend to live it in 10 years today, right? And I think it sounds nice. It sounds shiny. It sounds pretty. It sounds like, yes, I want to do that. But I think for us young entrepreneurs, like me included, we're in that like building stage. We haven't built the castle yet to be able to give us that freedom. And I know VJ, you know, I mean, we talked about this literally 3 weeks ago where me and you are in that building stage too. And you're like, this is friggin' hard. And right now it's simply about like, how do we keep going? How do we live long enough to win? Right? As entrepreneurs, how do we live long enough to win? And so many of us are in that stage. And then, you know, I mean, you do get there. Like I've interviewed hundreds of people. They do get there. I would say that you, Colin, have just made it there right now.
Absolutely.
Maybe even this year, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, now I have the cushion to be able to say, I value my time now. Now my time is more important than the money. My time with my family, my time to enjoy my life, right? So I'm devil's advocating a little bit on this, because I do truly believe, once again, it's a privilege to be able to get to that point where you have your time. I don't know, man. Like, what's the secret? You've lived both sides. How do you get to that point before you're at that point?
Well, I think part of it is I used to run, and I'm torn between, should I start running again, like just half marathons or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's what they call the runner's high, right? You get the runner's high, and then when you finish one, you know, you're like, I'm never doing that again. And later that day, you're like, yeah, I'm signing up for another one. That type of thing. I think it's the entrepreneurial high is what it is, right? And it just came to me like that is one more thing. So like I was texting with Jory this morning, and he's away on a vacation, and he left in the middle of the night, Friday, Saturday morning. And he's texting me this morning, and he riddles off like, I don't know, 5 questions. And then at the bottom, he says, I've only been gone half a week, and like, I have to do something. Like he's, you know, he's quizzing. And I replied, I said, well, that's the entrepreneurial brain, right?
Yeah, it is.
We can't shut it off. And I think what's happened is most recently for me, I've been able to move to a different position where more comfortable, I guess, right? But the chase is still there. I need it. I have to do it. The business doesn't change, but personally, I'm in a better spot that way. And then my mind does change. My mindset immediately changed because I had a real tough time when people say, or I look at them and I go, geez, it would be nice to be in that position. Then I can do this. It would be nice to be over there. For me, that doesn't settle me now. And now I just move so I can go to a different direction or do more things or complete more things. But it certainly helps, right? Like you know, was it an overnight success? Yeah. And I don't want to be corny, but overnight, over 20 years, over 25 years, right? My wife was joking.
A lot of overnights, a lot of them, you stack them together.
You know, my wife was joking the other day about, we used to be involved with ATM businesses. And this is the truth. I would make 18 cents per transaction. And people would say, that's nothing. I go, but if you do 25,000 transactions, right? Or whatever it is. So, but the goal was, I think in the end, I was making a quarter a transaction before we sold it all. But she was laughing. She said, do you remember how hard you had to work for 18 cents a transaction? And I said, well, I do, right? Because I would never do the math and go, it's the fuel to get there. It's my personal time. It's, you know, it doesn't matter if it's 6 a.m. or 11 p.m., but it's that sacrifice we make to get to where we are today. Right. But that's where now I'm like, you know, I have to compartmentalize it and go, okay, what's worth my time? Like, is it better for me? I always use my red chairs, which you all know about, sit in my Adirondack chair in the backyard and just enjoy my time. Yeah. That actually is pretty good. And for whatever reason, recently, my phone isn't buzzing. Everything's going well, but my phone isn't ridiculously texting, emailing. Like sometimes I look at it like, oh, is my Wi-Fi out? Am I not getting?
Sorry, Colin, my phone hasn't been working this week. I'll get on it next week.
You'll be calling me. Yeah. You know, you get to a spot where maybe that's just settling out a bit, or maybe it's not a lull because we're in our busy season for a lot of things. It's just a different spot. And I think that's given me the ability, like yesterday, to sit down and go, okay, I think I want more of this now. Or is it because some things have fallen into place that we were working on, or we were practicing, right? You practice and then you get good. Maybe we got good at some things, and then you can make those better decisions of what not to do. And VJ, from the other side of the glass looking in, right? You're in the building stage.
Right.
I'm not one to say, hey, I've been there. I'm still in the building stage. I'll say I'm there, but I can see it. And brother,
Right.
I know how hard it is. And I know, like to me, you're in the quarter per transaction stage, right? Like it's like, okay, so how do I do better? I need to have more transactions. Right. Or volume. And I remember, I don't know if I ever told you guys, I'll find the video. There's an IBM commercial that was on TV years ago, and the guy is walking around head office with a quarter, and he's walking floor, first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor. And he's going office to office saying, I just made a quarter. And everybody's like, who cares? It's a quarter. Right. And at the end, it says they do like 125,000 transactions a second. So whatever it was. Right. And that's what it is. That doesn't free up more time, but I thought it was a good analogy to bring up right now.
It was interesting when we started talking about it this morning, because like this year, I've definitely found myself much more protective of my time than I've ever been in my entire career. Like I look back to like being a BD guy, and it's like, I'll take any meeting I can get. Yeah. Now it's like, I have to essentially judge out whether or not that meeting will be valuable for me, because I need like every hour of my 40-hour week right now at this point in my career. Right. I'm very much looking forward to a point where I could maybe have more free time. But I think, like I said, I'm also still in that building stage. So like right now, it kind of feels like love to, can't wait, but have to put in the time to get there. And it was funny because me and Shelby were even talking about coaching this morning. And I was like, yeah, like we sold 8 seats for this latest cohort. It's awesome. It's doing really well. I wish we sold all 10, right? But once again, it's like you need the track record of success. You need time. And it doesn't matter. Like I talk about it in Podcast Playbook. By the way, we finished it. Part 10 is done today. Podcast Playbook is completed. Part 11 is simply going to be tips and tricks. So ultimately, we are done. Hardest series I've ever put together in my life for anything. But once again, I said it in Podcast Playbook, there's simply no replacement for the time it takes to be successful. And most podcasts fail because they're not willing to put in hundreds of episodes to win. But that's what it takes. It takes hundreds of episodes to win in the podcast space. And it takes hundreds of episodes to win in monetization. And it takes hundreds of coaching students to win as a coach, right? Like there's just there's no replacement for the time, right? And I look at it from, even all the interviews I've done, Colin, all the people that I've met that are incredibly successful, Jory, Ross, took them 10 years, man, 10 years of building or more to get to where they're at today, where it's like, I have freedom. But even then, like Jory's a great example, right? Super successful. His company's got to be worth 70 to $80 million. Could just be done, really could. But no, bigger, more money, bigger challenges. That's the entrepreneur brain. What can we tackle now that we have 10 million to throw at it?
Well, and that's the experience part that like, even if we say it's been 10 or 20 years on the entrepreneur side, it's also, depending on your age, 10 years or 20 years before that, working. Right? Like getting experience working, I don't want to downplay a job, right? It's real, or a career. Right. Like my corporate career was 17 years. Right. And there was 5 years before that in a very good position. And then there was 5 years before that, in my exit, $8 an hour, $10 an hour job. All of those play into the entrepreneur life. It's just depending, anybody listening, when you get into that, or the business life, if I can encourage you, earlier would be better. So it's kind of like they say, people retire at 65 and then they die. That's harsh,
Yeah.
right? But that's like if you work, and then you're 60 and you become an entrepreneur. I'm sorry to tell you that there's only so many years left, right?
Yeah.
So I think the rewards might be better if you get in earlier.
100%.
But you can't change where you're at. And I do, I don't know, but Colonel Sanders was 68 when he started, right? Well, he was probably grilling chicken or frying chicken for 39 years before that.
Well,
Right.
and he probably never did see the peak of what KFC became.
No,
right? Once again, he
no.
was long gone before
Yeah.
KFC became KFC,
Yeah.
right? Like,
but
time.
VJ, what's going on in your head there? I can see something.
No, speaking
swirling.
of speaking of KFC, we went to Louisville, Kentucky. Is it in Louisville or which
so.
place?
Yeah,
is it?
that's right.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
We went to the actual place in Kentucky where the first Kentucky Fried Chicken was made. Right?
No way. Is it a KFC still?
I think
still
it
a
is.
KFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and
Wow.
it tasted the same. So I mean,
It did. Was the gravy the
Going
same?
to be different. We traveled like I think 4 or 5 hours to get there, but it is still the same. but it's still
Could
good.
it stop
But, I
at
mean
18 or 20 on the way there?
Yeah, that's amazing.
it's amazing in terms of like I mean, a few episodes ago, yes, I broke down and like a simple question. I told her like, what broke you down? And she was asking like a simple question, like, how are you doing? I mean, I don't want to get into that again, but the thing is like, for me to admit, I wrote a post called Enduring Pain. It really is. I just want to admit what stage I am right now, because that's a fact. Because I'm telling myself, as well as anyone saying, hey, it's not always like roses and then you're having desserts and dinners all the time. No, it's super hard.
Oh,
I
rare.
want to admit that, acknowledge it, and grow from there. Because for me personally, it's also a reflection of like what I think, and want to keep building and keep growing from there actually, and not because someone said like, yeah, the Instagram pictures are great, the reels are great. But like I don't want to be in that position where I'm feeling pathetic, but at the same time the post is saying, wow, I'm having a great dinner with someone. No, because that kind of like, it's not a actual reflection of how I feel. So I'd rather be real, and then say it as however it is, right? So than painting a picture that is not.
Yeah.
So
you know what I think part of it is, the grind, the whatever you want to call it. I think
authentic hustle.
Yeah, the authentic. Okay, that's
The authentic
perfect.
hustle.
The authentic hustle is a mindset,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
And I believe our mindset changes hourly, daily, whatever, monthly, yearly, whatever that may be. And that's all part of it. This conversation is part of it, right? And in my mindset, I want my mind to change often, right? I don't want to get stuck where I was, or nothing will ever change, or I'll keep thinking the same way. And I don't ever want to think I've got there, right?
Right.
Because that's also a setback, right? One thing I was thinking of though is, if we're talking about, buying back our time or whatever it is, however you want to phrase it, is the number one thing we really need to focus on is distractions, or how do we say no? And what do we say no to? So Kelly, I'll ask you, like if you made a good comment, you could interview forever. There's a lineup. You have a year of people wanting to be interviewed. I know for a fact, I saw some of the stuff where some guy told you you're going to dissolve and burn up if you don't interview him in the next 8. I don't know, VJ, if you know, if you,
No, I know VJ, I don't think.
In the next couple of weeks or whatever, if you don't put me on your show's going to just be nothing. And so
Get it up here.
so that guy probably won't be around too long. Maybe he will. But Kelly, very, very good for you to say, yeah, beat it, right? Not going to happen. But you do have to say no. And then there's so many opportunities, do you want to be a guest speaker here or a keynote or whatever it is? So enticing, so flattering even, right? That sometimes you sacrifice and you go, you know what? Yes, I will do that. Yes, I will do that. Yes, I will do that. Meanwhile, you're burning yourself out. You're not advancing yourself. Maybe it's only self-gratifying. Does anything come out of that? Right? Like obviously there will be invitations where you're like, yeah, I'm going to that. Yes, I'm gonna drop everything and go do that. But I think every day there's a pull for us to do something different or something more, become part of something else, a team, a group, a committee, a movement, if you will. It's just, we have to really be cautious and set up our boundaries as to what we're going to allow inside that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. No, it's tough. It's tough because I think the entrepreneurial spirit is a giving spirit. It really is. And I've interviewed enough people now to say that every single person who's been on my show came to it with heart, came to it because they're passionate about what they do and they genuinely want to help people in whatever way that they can. That is the nature of entrepreneurs. And I think that's where we struggle, because I know, for instance, Colin, we've talked about it. I would do what I do for free if I could afford to do it for free.
Mhm.
Like, I love what I do that much that, like, I enjoy doing it. And if I could do it without needing to get paid for it, I think I would. But
Mhm.
that's not the world that I live in. Right. And I think that, but the problem is with that is that we do tend to say yes to those things. We're like, okay, this is a way that I can give back. Right. Like, the reality is I could have took Podcast Playbook and I could have just paywalled the shit out of that thing and it would have been just as valuable, but I wouldn't have been able to help as many people as I could by creating a series out of it, right? That is the entrepreneurial spirit right there. That is somebody wanting to make a difference and not putting a paywall behind it.
Right.
Many entrepreneurs are doing that. I would say 95% likely in one way or another are finding their way. But it's a struggle, though, like you said, because Podcast Playbook, like I said to you, Colin, hardest thing I've ever done. Probably, if I had to put a number on the time it's taken me to make that series, probably 60 to 80 hours of research, time, planning, recording, editing, production, and out.
Yeah.
I didn't get paid for that time.
Yeah. Not yet.
Not yet.
But you planted the seed.
Right. But
Right.
that's it. It's like that thing is out there. And what impact could it have? Well, hopefully we inspire 100,000 shows.
Well, and you know what? I'll use this too as well. I watch Dragon's Den and Shark Tank, right? I still watch them. And it's kind of like, not I'll use your your Podcast Playbook. It would be like if Kelly, you were 40 years down the road from today and you were still talking about the Podcast Playbook and you hadn't monetized it, you hadn't done anything, and I was going to invest, right? I would say, hey, Kelly, how long you been at this? Oh, I don't know, like, 3,700 hours. How have you monetized
the 500 episodes?
I've had Joe Rogan on. I've done this. I've done that. Have you monetized it? No. Okay, shut it down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
like how much, no matter how good it is, right?
You have to get paid for it.
You have to get paid for it. And you know what? Even I think it would be false to say somebody reached their limit. Now they just do it for free or whatever. They're not doing it for free, right? It's being backloaded. There's something funding them, or they've recurring revenue, some type of thing that's coming in so they can do that. Because I don't believe anybody really, I shouldn't say that. I don't believe I'm giving enough that I'm going to wake up every day if I'm not earning and just smile at you.
You have to be good. You have to be in a place of peace, a place of abundance, in order to truly be able to give freely.
You do.
Right? You
You
have to be able to look after yourself. Right. And I think maybe that's important for our entrepreneurs to listen right now. Are you good? Because if you are not good, you have to start figuring out how to get yourself right before you can help the world.
And here's the other thing, before you can help, regardless of who it is, people traveling around the world, I'll even use missionary work, whatever. Every missionary has to raise funds to go on their mission. That's the way it is. Those funds have to come from somewhere. Every aspect, it doesn't matter what it is, money has to move that object forward. So you have to be doing that. And for me to say, oh, I'm just going to be able to go here and help this or help this, something has to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? And I know, like, I even recently, I had to say no to, I didn't have to, I chose to say no to somebody who was asking for another sponsorship, that type of thing. And I had given to that organization in many ways. I did use AI for a response for a little bit of it, but it was a hard thing for me to do. But I just said, you know what, look, after all this, I have to really focus in on where my giving is going. I'm not giving less, I'm giving more, but I have to focus in and see also what I'm receiving. I'm not giving to VJ to receive from him. I have to see, is it good ground? What am I doing? And the reply that I got was, okay, thanks. We wish you the best. Oh, that was it. So I was just basically, hey, we'll ask him again because he always does it. We'll ask him again because he always does it. When I actually came up with a, thanks to chat, I came up with a good response. It was a little bit of a slap in the face that
to not get at least a reasonable response.
Yeah,
thank you back.
It was just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, you were good for the money, right? And then the other part is, if I'm on that end, maybe I dig in a little harder and I come from another angle and be real. But no, gone, just gone, right?
Yeah.
And so that resonates with me. And in any time I'm in a situation like that, I'm really trying to reflect on myself. Am I doing that? Right? Am I on that other side doing that to somebody? Am I attracting or am I deflecting people? That type of thing. And who am I bringing in? Because when I say no, I don't want to say no to be malicious. I don't want to say no just to be negative and go, yeah, no, forget it. Right. I want to say no because it's either I just don't have any more to give. And I'm not talking about money, right? I don't have any more to give. And I could, but that would mean I would have to delete something else.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm going to allow enough space to be there in my own life.
So how are you? I think maybe a good way to close up today's show would be this. Run us through the process that you go through mentally before you accept an invitation to something, whether it be a lunch, whether it be a client meeting, whether it be just hanging out with friends or family or whatever it is. What is the mindset process that you go through before you make that decision to decide if that's a good use case for your time at this stage of life?
Yeah. Number one thing is very, very simple thing. How is this going to benefit me? And it's not a pompous thing. Is it going to benefit me? And that behind that word benefit can be my family, can be my work life, can be financial, can be just free time of doing nothing, right? It's just, I have to break it down. Is this going to be a plus or a minus in my life? That's about as basic as it gets. If it's going to add value, right? And not everything has to add value, but that's a personal feeling. Is this going to give me, is it going to make me feel good? Or maybe that's better. Is this going to make me feel good? Or is it going to make me feel like I just put in time? Right.
Because as an entrepreneur, I think we accept a lot of things thinking that like, well, this might not be good right now, but a year from now it might be, right? Like we make that justification in our brain where everybody's good to meet because you never know when something might. Right. So I guess from my standpoint, is there an immediate return that you're looking for when you meet with somebody these days with very limited time? Once again, we're talking about your time now as a busy entrepreneur. You literally run 2 businesses. You're busy. You got a family to support and to build relationships with. Are you looking for immediate return these days? As opposed to kicking the can down the road for a year-long return?
I wouldn't say immediate, but I am looking for a return. And I do believe that when I give, like say I give to an organization, I don't expect to receive from that organization. I believe in sowing and reaping. I believe, right? What goes around comes around. But I think I'm going to be more selective on the ground that I seed into, if that makes sense, right? Because you can just spray it all over, right?
Sure.
And some will grow, some won't. And I should better say it. It's not just to benefit me. I should ask myself, how is this going to benefit me? And how is this going to benefit whatever it is? If it's a benefit for both, good decision, right? If it's one-sided, maybe not. The other part is, I keep going back to the Mel Robbins book that I keep going to is Let Them. That has really helped me even with this type of decision-making. Number one thing that would probably hold me back in the past is being afraid of being offended or being the offender. I didn't want to offend people by saying no. I didn't want to, and I probably lived a lot of my life being offended by not understanding something or taking it the wrong way. Now it's like they say water off a duck's back or whatever. I just have to live like that. Right. And it's hard, but I'm pretty good at setting my mind quickly on, okay, not going to affect me. And if I have to tell myself that 35 times in the next day, that's what I'll do. So hopefully that answered that question. But holistically, that's what it is. Am I going to benefit others? Is it going to benefit me?
No, that makes sense. Like I said, I just think as entrepreneurs, we can absolutely justify almost anything.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, I know we're at our time, but I'll use that example. What you just said is perfect because I'm a sales guy.
Yeah.
So if you were to come to me and say, hey, this is the latest, greatest thing, Canadian real estate's going to explode, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'll be there. Well, it's Saturday all day.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Right. Because I kept on thinking, what's in it for me? Right. Like what could I could possibly do this. Right. And now I have to look at it and go, man, probably not.
I love that actually, because that is me. I absolutely block off my weekends now. I'm still not like perfect at getting all of Saturday. I usually work the morning just because I have like show production, because by the time Friday's done, I'm wiped.
Yeah.
So I do a little bit of show production on Saturday mornings, but typically from about 11 to noon for the rest of the weekend, I'm checked out and I don't accept things that happen on weekends.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe I'm a step ahead, but I would even like to be better than that at some point. I would like maybe be able to shut off at noon on a Friday.
Well, you know, maybe we take some more time here. I don't know if we have listeners left. If not, right, they can always just leave.
That's right. You can leave if you if you're sick of us, get out of here.
You know, but stay if you want to.
Here's the reason why I'd give the shout out to Mel Robbins again. Is
5-second rule? Is it 5-second rule? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that, and also, what does it really matter? If you say no, if you don't immediately answer the phone, like I actually find it comical now, is like somebody, I texted you. Yeah. Right. I know you did, but I was actually doing something. It's called my life. Right.
That's right.
This thing called I'm busy.
Yeah. Like, and the other part is like, I've really learned real estate clients should be and can be really demanding. Right. But there's multiple ways to handle that or deal with it. Right. And if you really learn to be compassionate and really learn to put your clients' needs first, I don't mean their needs that they're going to text you 45,000 times in 2 days. That's not a need, right? That's a personality. Lay down the ground rules, right? Agree on them. And that it's harder. It's easier said than done. But with any business, here's the ground rules. Here's how we're going to do business. Here's how we're going to communicate. Is that good with you? Okay. And if it goes off the rails, bring it back.
Yeah.
Right. I think people respect honesty. Right. And everybody has a different personality. It's just, I think maybe because now I'm 52, not that I'm there, but I'm 52 and I've seen what I've seen. And I think I get better at making those decisions. And I get better at, I don't love difficult conversations, but I get better at knowing I just have to deal with this and I will feel so much better when it's over, regardless of the outcome. Right. It's when I go to bed knowing I haven't dealt with it. I haven't talked about it because guess what I get to wake up to? Right.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
So
there's pain in the unknown, and there, like, anxiety is simply just being afraid of something that may or may not happen.
Well, isn't is that not terrorism? Right.
It is. It's emotional. Anxiety is emotional terrorism.
It really is. Right. Because I heard it said is, terrorism doesn't scare you. If there's a guy walking down the street with dynamite sticks all over his body, people go, oh, terrorist. No. The terrorist is the unknown. It's what's around the corner that we don't know that's coming, right? It's the alert that comes on the news that there's a terrorism alert in Italy or whatever. I just saw one, right?
Yeah.
Don't travel there. Okay, well, now you're scaring me for something that probably won't happen, right? The odds of it happening, but we live that every day in our lives. The fear of the unknown, the fear of what's going to happen tomorrow with this, right? And
I don't think you should say that. It's September 10th.
That's right. That's right.
One more day to go.
One more day to go. That's right. Now I get to see what's on the news again tomorrow. That's right.
My goodness. And first off, let me just pause and say shout out. Absolutely. September 11th is horrible. None of us at all are making fun of it or condoning it.
No, not at all.
I don't even think that we put two together that it's September
Nobody ever
10th.
would. No.
So for those
It's,
of you, we lived it. We lived that day too. So hearts go out to everyone in New York who and just the States in general who
Well,
suffered through September.
and you know what? Another day, we can even use that day, right? That's all that's a defining moment.
Absolutely.
Right. Today's a piece in history. That was a piece in history, right?
Yeah.
A different one. It talked a lot about decision making. It talked a lot, or spoke a lot to it and where we're at today because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no slight on it for sure. It's a real thing and it's a real date that the anniversary is
I
tomorrow.
realized that
right?
I don't think any of us put two and two together.
Yeah.
I just looked down at my calendar. I'm like, oh no, that literally is tomorrow.
Yeah. Right.
It's crazy because this year my oldest son is in grade 7 and I was in grade 7. And I remember that day like it was yesterday.
Oh, now you know how old I am? I was not in grade 7. I was in Medicine Hat, Alberta in a restaurant, a Riverside pizza place, it was called. And I was watching it it was a small TV. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey. But yeah, I remember it vividly.
Yeah.
Right?
They pulled TVs into our classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I remember.
But I'll tell you how old I am before we quit. Kelly, when I was in grade school, before you were even thought of, I remember we were watching the space shuttle, the one that blew up in our class.
Was that Columbia?
Yeah. Columbia. Yeah. And we were watching it live.
Wow.
I think I was in grade 3.
Oh yeah, because they would have just broadcasted. Or no, it would have been. Was it a different one?
I don't
Discovery.
know. It was
maybe?
the one. Well, the one
Which
that
one?
blew up with all the people in it.
Discovery. It would have been Discovery. That would have been in what year?
Like 1980 or something.
1980. No, hold on.
What year was it?
That one blew up in our time. That was 2011.
No.
Goodness, I am lost. I'm lost.
2001.
2001. No, it was way earlier than that. Do you guys know how old I am?
Well, you just said 52.
33.
Okay. Well, Kelly, before we sign off, find out when it was.
I'm working on it right now in the 80s.
So one of them, I had
Challenger blew up on January 28th, 1986.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
All right. Were you born yet?
No, 88.
I started my first job in 1988.
Oh, wow.
This is like we're on a podcast and I'm Jack Welsh. Right? And you guys are like, I've been running GE for 49 years, and you guys weren't even born when the car started.
See, this is why we're challenging you a little bit on your time freedom equation. It's like, dude, we still need 20 years to catch up to you.
It's actually kind of perfect because, I think from every. The moment it's not every generation, but I think we have people from every time period. I don't know if that.
Colin's from the encyclopedias, right?
Yeah.
And
but
your parents probably bought a set of books, and I'm in there. That's how old I am. Okay.
Wrong with being an encyclopedia.
Kelly, you started it. You finish it off.
All right, guys, man, this has been a hustle and a half, but awesome. I love this show and I love you guys. Thank you so much for this. The time freedom equation, people, we're all aiming for it, but value your time. I like to think about time, especially now at this point in my career, like every hour is worth $1,000 an hour because it really is. And I teach that, when I do my coaching, that we have to start to value our time more and just value your time. That's it.
For sure.
Okay, can I just add a point?
Yeah. Yes.
Before we close, because this is a topic I'm really passionate about. I would just passionately enjoying the conversation, not even thinking to speak about much of it, but just I want to add one point is everything that you're doing, trying to do it, try and do it as much as if you can align it to the freedom aspect of it. That's what I'm doing. I think Kelly is doing the same thing, and in terms of building it, if you can build everything online, and the 3 things I'm passionate about, maybe I've said it before, it's freedom of time, freedom of location, freedom of money. And if you want to look at freedom of location, that's super important. You don't, before you take a mortgage, right? Think about it 100 times, because the moment you take Colin, we've spoken about the retail jail, for instance, right? People don't think twice before taking a mortgage. Actually, the moment you take it, 25 years is locked in.
Yeah.
right? It's not easy to pay off a 500,000 mortgage or a $1 million mortgage. It's just not. So think 100 times before getting into that. I'm not against real estate. I would invest in it, but at the same time, it's like a retail jail. It's like you're become location dependent. You cannot move anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm saying that after moving from 14 different cities. So for a long time, I was actually passionately figuring out what it is and like traveling the world and like was not paying attention to the business world at all. And at the same time, I really struggle when I'm talking about my business, what I do. And we're not the best person to market our own businesses. That we struggle.
Right.
And I enjoy speaking to others in the podcast. So I think that's what it is. So think about these aspects when you're building your business, the brand, everything. Try to build it as much. I mean, if it aligns to your values, I think that's what you should do. So just wanted to add that, Kelly. Didn't mean to interrupt your closing.
No,
Please go ahead.
that's okay. That's okay. And I think maybe just one piece to add as well is that if you're new to entrepreneurship, this is a long one. This is a long hustle.
That's good.
But if you're new to entrepreneurship and you're looking for, for the fast route, right? I think I got into entrepreneurship thinking there would be a fast route, and I've just been proved wrong at every single turn.
Yeah, there's no.
There is no replacement for the time. You have to put in the time, and it sucks. It sucks that there isn't a fast button or the easy button, but you have to create that track record of success, and there's nothing in the world that does that for you but time earned and time burned.
That's right.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. That's the end, hustlers. This has been Authentic Hustle 32. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Later.